Alright, so today I chose to 100% complete Resident Evil 8, one of the best Resident Evil games in my opinion, one of my most favorite horror games of all time, for reasons that are obvious. Anyways, this is also a part of my ongoing challenge where I'm trying to 100% my profile on PlayStation, containing over 140 non-completed games, and the goal is to do it before the channel hits 1.15 million subscribers. So if you want to speed up the challenge, making it harder, drop a like and subscribe. But I platinumed this game quite a while back now, and it was for real one of the most fun platinums I think I've ever gotten and done on the channel. And the DLC for this game, which also was out when I platinumed it, is called the Winter's Expansion. It contains a solid 7 trophies taking an estimated 5 hours, and it's rated at a 4 out of 10 in difficulty. Starting off today, however, I already had 2 of these trophies from the Bloody Village and Bloody River stages on the Mercenaries mode, which is in stage 3 of the trophy guide. And this is because doing that mode gives you super OP weapons to use in the normal game's playthroughs, and I did do that way back when to get the platinum easier. Anyways, today all I need to finish is stages 1 and 2, which are both relating to the Shadows of Rose extra level of sorts. This is an entire story arc, an almost tiny game relating to Rose, who is Ethan's daughter, also the girl that I thought was the main character of Resident Evil 9. However, a simple Google search has now informed me that she is not. So I guess this truly was just an extra DLC for this game and nothing else seemingly. Before some more structure on this DLC completion, I also did just jump to stage 2, seeing as stage 1 was the optional standard difficulty stage, and stage 2 can be done fairly easy first go. Now, Shadows of Rose on hardcore is a bit challenging, but it's nothing compared to the other horror games I've done, like Outlast 2 for example, with its permadeath trophies. The entire plot of this DLC, however, is about Rose trying to get rid of her powers. She's a complete freak. I mean, just look at her. What motherfucker has white hair unironically? That's crazy. But for real though, she gets told to interact with this piece of Miranda's Megamycetes from a dude that has been helping her out after all that happened within the Resident Evil 8 story. And poor Rose was just desperate to get rid of her powers, so she goes in head first, almost instantly into the flames, thinking that it's just a simple little dream she will have. Take a little nap, if you will. But Rose would find out that was no such case almost instantly when you wake up and see the world completely abandoned and not in the loving kind of way. I'm not sure if there is a loving kind of way, but you get the point. And also, as I do play through this, the goal is to just beat it. Pretty much every trophy is got to naturally as long as you're on hardcore, and you literally do just need to beat the game to complete the DLC pack. There is one trophy where you have to craft every type of item, so that could be missable if you just don't do it. However, it's very easy to get that nearing the ending portion of the DLC. Back to the story at hand though, you take a little stroll through this newfound desolate world we were inside of, and you just go down this extremely long and dark cobblestone tunnel. If you told me this was Minecraft in 2050, I would believe you. But you eventually reach the first odd thing in this world, and it's just black goo everywhere. Looks like Venom is back to jerking it. I guess somebody saw that Wolverine trailer. Understandable reaction, I can't lie. Anyways, right next to that you hear a little girl ask to be let out. And dude, I can't believe this, but I figured out where we are. These are the tunnels below Diddy's house. It all makes sense now. No, but seriously, this did give us the first goal, being to just find a key to open this cell and obviously let out the girl that's crying for help. And there was one just a short ways away hanging on some wooden post, which I then grabbed, and a cutscene played right after. It showed us this disgusting red and black goo thing that almost resembled a person before washing away after Rose's foot backed off of it. This must be the goo that comes from the Planned Parenthood trash day.
Oh my god!
But then you just head back to this cell we were previously trying to open. You then open it, obviously, and another cutscene played out. This time the forbidden goo actually grew a hand and tried to drag us down into it. But Rose gets saved by a woman who resembles her in every single way. Doppelganger, if you will. Shout out to the movie Enemy, by the way. If you know, you know.
Alan?
But this chick doesn't really say much aside from just to follow her around because she knows where we are and at least somewhat is what we need to do. But you kind of just run around for a little bit exploring. There wasn't any threats at hand quite yet, which was very relaxing to be honest, despite us being in a torture dungeon. Even flowers can grow in the dark if they try hard enough. That means great things on levels if you really think about it. But eventually the girl we were with just lets out a big scream, and I assume it's not a good scream. So another cutscene then plays and we see her getting mauled by some creature. Words can't describe what this thing even looks like. I've actually never seen something quite like it. However, Rose also finds out that she can use her powers to like blast them away with light. It's pretty cool, I can't lie. But after that ends, it's officially game time, boys. The threat is now after us, being the bad guy creature evil man. That's what I'm calling the enemy today. You also get thrown right into this first puzzle part of the DLC, having to simply switch open this door to escape, but you kind of have to farm the enemy like it's COD Zombies to do so because the door rises up very slowly. I did it easily because it's very simple. You literally just run in circles like it's nobody's business until the door rises all the way up, and then you just sprint for your life like it depends on it because it does. After running away for quite some time, we reached another forbidden tunnel we had to crawl through, and there wasn't a single over-revealing butt shot, so I'm officially depression. Let's go. Anyways, that tunnel then led us into the infamous castle of Resident Evil 8, and the flashbacks I just got were very severe. I also got a slight hard-on just from memory recognition. Oh yeah, there was also this big weird thing in the game with some force called our guardian angel that just wrote out messages to us as you play. The thing gives you advice, direction, and even weapons at points, so it's low-key helpful despite it being very cringe how it functions. Anyways, we also walked over to the main room of this castle and spotted this fat-ass dude from the main game, and we got to see just what's going on in this place. Basically, he's in charge by Miranda and capturing the duplicates of Rose, and then doing whatever this is. Not exactly sure what this does for society, but hey, it's definitely doing something, clearly. Also, a retard Rose then slips into the place and gets spotted like an idiot, so a big chase happens once more like usual. After a few turns or so, it goes back to cutscenes, and those words of wisdom quite literally just give us a gun. And for some reason, as I'm editing this, seeing this scene again reminded me so much of that Harry Potter meme with him and the gun just glowing. It's too iconic, my brain is so rotted I can't move on. But then you're supposed to fight this first enemy. However, since we are on hardcore, they take a ton of shots to kill, and we need to conserve ammo for boss fights, so you kind of just ignore the dude and then run around him to move forward with the game. We also do spot the blue crystal. We need to escape this place in the main foyer, which is the goal for this entire game pretty much. We need to find a bunch of keys to open it. So it's basically time now to do puzzles and treasure hunting, if you will. For the next 30 minutes or so, you truly do just go into that Resident Evil game flow of exploring to find keys and just accessing new and more complex areas with more complex puzzles. Rose also does finally start to use her powers, and these are actually used a lot to help with puzzles in the game. Not exactly as much on enemies because you do have limits, which is kind of lame, and we again do need to save those for boss fights. But using them in puzzles and to eliminate the infection from getting to us is needed a lot, like I said. It's also a trophy from using it 20 times, which I would get when we evidently went back underground, and here it is popping, being our first new trophy of the day. And in this underground area, there's actually a lot of annoying enemies all cluttered together, which got hold of your boy a lot, and I had to reset numerous times. But low-key, this game has one of the most forgiving autosaves I've ever seen a horror game have. Like, you can mess up so much and just get thrown right back in before you did mess up. It's honestly a great time. I love it. And once we did make it topside again, we finally unlocked the shotgun, which is the key weapon in this game, because it's like the strongest one you can use, and it's 100% required for boss fights. A bit later on, we also did this puzzle, which had us cross this room full of that bad goo, and then grabbing a golden mask. However, upon grabbing it, we got a cutscene showing us getting captured of sorts, and getting sent to a saw-type puzzle where we had to eliminate these certain spores with our powers, or else we would die. And if you don't do it fast enough or in the correct order, you just fail and die. I eventually figured out what you're supposed to do, and I managed to get out, succeeding in my efforts. Anyways, a minute or two later, I also got a trophy from crafting every type of item in the Shadows of Rose DLC, which is actually very easy, like as someone mentioned it was, mostly because the item count is very small if you can't already tell just by looking at the screen. But at this point, I had gathered all the keys you needed to unlock access to that crystal we were after, and by keys, I just mean the differing mass things around the game we have been gathering. But upon grabbing it, that fat dude shows up again, as if he was just gonna let us take it. Rose has serious main character syndrome, and she will now die from it. But instead of just killing us right there, the fat guy decides to put on a show, as he says. Not sure for who, because it's just him in this damn place. But this is the first major boss fight of the game, and the strategy to do it and not die is to use everything you have in the best possible way. By this, I mean stunning the bosses whenever possible, and then making sure to hit them in the critical points to do the most damage. Overall, it's not the hardest thing in the world, especially comparing it to the later boss fights in this DLC. But I did still have to reset a multitude of times due to me dying horrible and painful deaths. It happens to the best of us, okay? But the entire fight here was just against these big guys with hammers, and you never actually get to touch the fat dude. Low-key, that might be for the best. I don't want to catch whatever condition he has. But once you do make it past the numerous hammer dudes, you get swarmed again, and there seemed to be no way out, but then the words of wisdom instruct us to just jump off. This could have been the most intricate suicide attempt ever, but hey, we survived and you end up outside. What the kind of Minecraft biomass thing is going on right now? That shit's crazy. But this portion of the game was also the scariest in my opinion. You wander through these woods until making it to this elevator, which takes us to a house of sorts, and this is another one of those doll scary horror puzzle room things from the main game. If you guys remember the House of Dolls, this is basically that, but just kind of less in your face and more of a build-up. You had to do a lot of puzzles in here, obviously, and all the while it was very much a horrifying experience that I would not do again. But after doing the puzzles here, we also made it to the infamous mannequin scene. And I've actually played numerous games that had mannequins that chase you when you're not looking, so I can't even recall if Resident Evil 8 was the first game to do this or not. But hey, it's here again, and it's still scary. One day I'll wake up and maybe I won't be scared of mannequins chasing me. And when that day comes, I guess I'll probably also come. But the goal in this entire area was just for us to get the power back on so we can take the elevator once more. And once you do finally take it again, you go on yet again another trip. And this time it puts us in this very big stealth area where you are small and the world is massive. The enemy is also, again, dolls. But they are much less observant this time and you pretty much just sneak around them for the entire gameplay portion. Ultimately, you do end up getting chased and the next like 20 minutes of gameplay is actually all just us getting chased by enemies. To be more specific, it's the Miranda's child spawn, I think. I don't really know the lore super in depth because I played this DLC in the main game so far apart that my memory is brain rot. But you have a very long section with this kid that is trying to kill us and you basically just have to dodge the attacks and then do your own in a cycle of sorts. After doing so enough, you then quote unquote win and you end up outside once more. But this finally led us to the finale of the DLC and the ending boss fight. We find the real crystal this time and then Miranda also evidently does show up finally. And I'm not gonna lie with you guys, Miranda can also get it. I see potential, okay? It does make sense. Okay, I'm just kidding. A second thought, this is her without makeup. Also, Ethan does show up finally to help us get out. And he was also those words of wisdom the entire game for some more lore. Sneaky dog, Ethan, I see you. Anyways, moving on, you make it to the final boss fight and the fight is kind of ass. It's not necessarily the hardest thing ever. You just have to be very patient because there is many moments where you cannot do damage to Miranda or stun her at all despite doing exactly what you need to for that to happen. So I spent like 30 minutes here and I failed numerous times just because I couldn't figure out why nothing was working on her multiple times in a row like it should be. But I finally did figure it out. And all that you had to do was wait to stun her with Rose's powers when she had those big black balls above her head. I knew Miranda swung that way on God. But then you just repeat that over and over until getting her low enough for the story to kick in and trigger the ending moment, which has us use our powers once and for all against her, and then you eradicate her for good, this time saving the day. And also, I guess, killing one of the biggest characters in the Resident Evil games, let alone this game, that's for sure. Cutscenes played out finishing the game, not really much else major happened besides future setups for Rose's story, and then it ends with some credits and the 3 trophies from finishing this mode on hardcore, standard, and casual, which then also got me 100% on the DLC pack and Resident Evil 8 in general. So yeah, that was the Resident Evil 8 100% experience, and I can confidently say that if I did this right after platinuming the game, I would have crashed out 100% because it was not easy by any means, but still another great DLC and a great game. Once more, thanks for watching. I'll see you all with more soon.